What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome. Let me just put my Bluetooth on, actually. I don't know why it's not going on. What's going on now? Come on. If it's not gonna work, then I'll just do non-headphones. I'm here with my headphones on, and they are not even on, so it's not even working. Sorry, guys. 2 minutes, and I'll try one more time to get these AirPods working. I think they might have run out of battery. I drained them yesterday. Okay, cool. Absolutely no point me doing that, but there we go. Right. So let's get started. Right. So what do we expect to obviously happen last night? Remember, we've obviously got two types of news which come out, all right, and obviously two different ways that the dollar can be anticipated. Obviously, we trade the dollar. We consider ourselves pretty good at it. So two types of ways and two types of news. One is hype. All right, hype and expectation and anticipation. That is obviously what we've got right now. All right, so we've obviously had all the hype, all the anticipation of Donald Trump's tariffs. He's been, the Supreme Courts have overruled him. Markets open. What happens? Gold flies. Euro USD flies. Everything kind of flies up, and then we get this realistic kind of realization of, right, you know what, actually, let's take a step back. Right, what is what's the dollar actually been doing? How's its data been? It's been strong. All right, it has been strong. So now this hype and expectations over. Yes, I'm still obviously pro, safe havens, but obviously, when you break it down, like Donald Trump explained, he could hold this up in Supreme Court for 5 years. We've got to remember what his job is. He is the president. So he's got a lot of, shots that obviously he can call. He's got a lot of cards that he can play. So this is what I'm anticipating happening, this morning. Yields obviously have dropped. So let's obviously wait and see how they open a bit later on. And then obviously we've got the stock market. I'm surprised about stocks actually. Stocks have dropped on the initial open, but nothing like crazy. But obviously they have dropped. I was a bit unsure about how stocks would open because obviously what they've done is they have obviously increased prices. Everyone's increased prices to allow for the tariffs. I mean, even small things like iPhones, you know, they've gone up. Well, year on year. I know obviously there's a lot more in them. There can't be that much more in them, but obviously they have gone up in price. So yeah, let's wait and see. Obviously, how stocks finish probably kind of today and tomorrow. Let's now just go in. I haven't even looked at this morning yet. So investing.com. I have been on Bloomberg, but I haven't been on investing.com yet. Right, let's just have a quick look. Here we go. So today we've got a Japanese holiday, got the Emperor's birthday. That's pretty cool. And then not a lot else happening. So this hype is going to continue. We might get a little bit of information from Fed Waller, but not going to have a lot. I didn't actually push on anything then. Right, let's have a look at this week just to break it down because I didn't do this yesterday, so we'll do this very, very quickly. So Tuesday, nothing in the morning. Then we've got ADP employment change, more speakers. Nothing else really happening. Atlantic GDP, consumer confidence. This will be quite an interesting one, actually. This is the confidence that consumers have in the economy at the moment. So that'll be quite interesting. Then we've got obviously inflation data for Euro, inflation data for Aussie. We also got Trump speaking, which will be very, very interesting. 2 in the morning. We obviously got all this Iran, US chats. It seems to be going pretty well, but we'll wait and see. Jobless claims set to increase, actually, set to get worse. And then Friday we got GDP, PMI. So nothing really major. Probably the biggest ones are inflation for Europe and Aussie. What can we do about these? We can take into consideration how a few others, inflation data has been. It's been pretty good. So there's no reason why euros and Aussies, shouldn't be the same. So looking into our overview, I did put a bit of a speech into the channel this morning, just obviously breaking down what we're looking at and why. Yeah, hopefully you guys got that, have read that, and obviously understand, the importance of, yes, they're always there's this good saying that everyone used, buy the rumor and sell the fact, and so we've obviously had facts which are the dollar is, strong on paper, it's strong, but it's the hype, it's the anticipation, it's what is going to happen, and that is unfortunately lots of times what drives markets. So let's now have a look at some of the trades that we are on this morning. Remember, same five pairs every day. We've got our entry zones here. USD JPY, pretty happy with this, rejecting nicely, moving on to the upside. Gold, again, happy. I actually got in a little bit low. I think I got 5129. I did a manual entry again in profit. Happy. GBP USD rejected in profit. Happy. Euro hasn't tapped us, and Aussie hasn't tapped us either. But again, we're obviously going with trend. We're going with the direction here. So you can clearly see sometimes I would recommend using, for example, this highlighter tool. And you can really mark out trend. It's going to help you. Always go with the trend. It doesn't matter how kind of scary it is. All right. But remember, what goes up must come down. What goes down must come up. All right. So it's something like this. That's what we should be anticipating if trend continues. No one actually knows if trend is going to continue. If you find it hard to plot out, using charts, change it in on the interim to, lines. And then, you can see very, very clearly price. So it's just this one here. All right. So yeah, that's obviously about it from me. I'm going to let everything run for a minute. Just going to check mine. Really, really happy. We've got obviously USD JPY flying. We've got gold in good profit, and we've got GBP USD in a nice bit of profit too. So I am at this stage, and I know it's small, but that's the basket. All right. Remember, you want a London session target. You want a New York session target. You want an overall daily target. If you feel comfortable, you could let it run. It might be that you hit your daily target in the morning. You don't need to trade in the afternoon. What does that do for you if you don't have to trade in the afternoon? It takes risk off the table, because all these guys who've got a 1 to 2, 1 to 3 risk to reward, yes, they might be being strict, but if they're trading more than what you are, they're exposing more risk than what you are. If you're trading less, you are exposing less risk. That's why scalping on, if you look at it in so many different ways, scalping doesn't work because you're exposing yourself to so much more risk. Everyone speaks about risk to reward, all right? But if you've got, even if you've got 1 to 3 risk to reward, but you're entering 10 to 20 trades a day, all right? Or you're someone who's got a 1 to 1 risk to reward, but you're entering, say, two trades a day, all right? Who's actually got less risk on the table? Yeah, the guy who's trading less. All right, so don't forget that. Don't kid yourself and draw up. If you draw up this and be like, yeah, you know what, I've got a 1 to 4. That's it. But obviously, if you're trading this 20 times a day, you're actually exposing yourself to more risk than a guy who's got this 1 to 1, and he's trading like one or two quality trades every day. So, and then obviously you got the uh, directional bias to add in there as well. So just have a think about that. It's the same, same thing I'd say to lots of the guys who obviously I'm working with. If you've hit your weekly target by Thursday and you want to trade Friday, why? Firstly, you got to ask yourself why. Are you doing it because you're just addicted to the buzz, or are you doing it because, you're actually confident that you can take money off the table? You know, so have a think about that. And yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's there's so many interesting ways to obviously have a look at risk to reward, but actually, the less time that you spend on the charts, the better. So, right, does anyone have any questions? Any questions at all? Um, let's have a look at here. Morning, morning, morning. Too much paella. I actually didn't have any paella this time. I didn't eat too bad. I like to just. I'm more of a dump my bags off, walk into the middle of a city and find some back street place, yeah, and have a nice like courtyard and yeah. As opposed to I've done their, Zoomers and stuff like that. I'd much rather, yeah, try and find some random place in the back end of a, city. So yeah, that's why I don't think it was that. I genuinely think it's a bug, but it is what it is. Morning, morning, morning. Dan, what app do you check the currencies and commodity crosses? Can't find on investing.com. This one here is called TradingView. But I don't know what you mean, but this here is called Trading View. And obviously you can even, I mean, I've got a chapter on it on my course. It will really help you, but it's grading pairs. All right, so yes, naturally this morning the weakest pair is USD. Yeah, the US dollar. It should be down on everything. So it's down on Aussie, down on NZD, down on Swiss, down on pound, down on euro, down on CAD. All right. Because you can see here AUD USD up 0.6 or 0.06. And so we can identify here, we can look at pound, and probably pound is Swiss. Let's have a look at Swiss as well. Yeah, I'd say Swiss and pound are up there at the top. Probably Swiss, because obviously I like to cross reference across yen just because it's all the same, side, so it's quite quick and easy. You can see here against yen, US dollar is down 0.3, but obviously against yen, Swiss is up 1.13. All right, so we've actually got Swiss, euro, pound, and yen at the top. But I'd go for obviously Swiss, probably Swiss and pound. Yeah, they're probably pretty even. So yeah, it's that's going to give you a bit of an overview because for example, like we've had previously, if you got say you're trying to sell pound against something random, um, like Aussie, you're gonna be that's gonna be it might not take your mindset away from taking that trade, all right, but obviously it's gonna be something you tick on the might not be a good idea kind of checklist. All right. So just have a think about it. Norby, to be honest, I like how you think about traveling life, and it's nice to see you are still with both feet on this world. Yeah, I'm more about longevity and time freedom. I want to get to a stage where I want I want my daughters to be 25 and I could buy them a house or an apartment. I want them to get 17. I can buy them a car. That to me is that's my flex. So yeah, I've been there. I've done that. I material possessions anymore don't really interest me. I've got like three watches. I can't wear them anywhere because you're worried you're going to get robbed. So what is the point? I've got, nice laptop. Nice home, nice car. But obviously, yeah, I'm not really bothered. I'd rather, yeah, travel, enjoy it. Memories are everything. So, yeah, because time, I don't know if anyone else agrees, time at the moment just flies. I swear it didn't fly this quick when I was younger. Well, when I was a boy and I was at school and it was, summer holidays, that summer holidays used to feel like forever, forever. So yeah, uh, yeah. So it is what it is. Time is great. Well, wait till you hit 50. I've been told actually by blokes that I've been told that I find it really interesting. What I always do is whenever I meet someone who's older, like 70s, 80s, or in retirement or in retirement, I always ask men and obviously women, what are the best era of your life be? What age would you go back to? Right? And strangely enough, men say 50. All right. If they're, 60 plus, men say 50, women normally say 30, you know? So it is strange, isn't it? But that's just what I've, found. So yeah, it's an interesting thing. But anyway, you know what? I'm gonna stop warbling because I obviously upload these onto YouTube and they're gonna be looking at my age, my age, ideal age ranges. So no, but yeah, really happy. You can see here we've obviously got pound flying. We've now got gold starting to come up. USD JPY picking up nicely. Everything is picking up nicely. All right. So yeah. Greg, that is because for most regular men in your careers, you normally hit your peak in your 50s. Exactly. So yeah, right. Have a great day. It's Monday. We're gonna honestly this week we're gonna absolutely smash it. Jack, I've had a message from you. I'm not sure I'm gonna have much time this morning because like I'd said, I've got three one-to-ones that they did this morning. And then yeah, I might have a bit of time a bit like later on, but honestly, yeah, I'm not sure. But I'll drop you a message in a bit. So yeah, right. Have a great day, everyone, and yeah, let's smash it. Have a good one.